to us a little bit about your journey towards the Eve Championship then, Nina, because I think we're looking at 2018 now, and in the May, you won the wild card ladder match at Wrestle Queendom against 6 other women, and you cashed in the November, didn't you, to eventually become the Eve champion. But tell us about that journey, because I mean you'd been with Eve maybe a year or two before then, so you know you'd obviously had a fair few matches and a bit of a journey and a story towards that championship, obviously winning the ladder match as well. What are your recollections of your journey towards the title?
I think my plan of when to cash in I had very, very early on. And I told Dan that, and I communicated with him. I said, this is when I want to do it. I want to do it on the She Won weekend. And so initially there was a briefcase, but I think literally my first show back after Queendom where I had the briefcase, Casey Owens broke it. Wasn't the plan, but just happened in the moment, and the briefcase was broken.
There's the briefcase there.
But it was actually a blessing in disguise, because I remember the reason why Edge's cash in as the first Money in the Bank was such a big deal was because people have basically forgotten that he had it. And it wasn't, you know, that tried and tested thing that it is now, where everyone knows and everyone expects them to become a champion from it. So it was actually quite a blessing. And after the briefcase was snatched away, I was like, I want it to be forgotten about, and I'm not really going to talk about it. And I wanted to not be in She Won for the reason of having that. And I think there was a show before the She Won that I couldn't make because of a taping. So I was like, right, let's have a bit of a downward spiral, have me on a losing streak to the point where I can get pissed off and walk out. So the walk coincided with the taping that I wasn't going to be there for anyway. And also it meant that I was far from anyone's mind on the She Won weekend. And I was even posting fake videos onto my Instagram story of me being in my hometown that weekend. So I just wanted to be as far out of people's view as I possibly could. So on the She Won, it was, you know, in the middle of Charlie Morgan and Kaylee Ray. And I got ready at home, got my gear on, and put a tracksuit over the top of my gear. Drove round the corner. I drove around the corner so that fans wouldn't see me. And then once, and I only arrived during the interval, I think, and once that second half had started, that's when I drove around near the Resistance Gallery. And I hid in the production truck that they had outside, because that's when they had a truck there, because they were streaming live. And the contract that was sellotaped to the chair, because obviously I didn't have a briefcase, my brother planted for me earlier on that day. So my brother went to watch it, and he actually planted the contract for me tucked behind the door on the entranceway. So I wanted it to be this big surprise, big shock moment, and I think it was. So yeah, that was something that I had in my mind for a long time. Plan, I knew that's what I wanted, and I think the long way into it that I'd done, every all the little tiny thoughts, little details, I think really helped and made for a really memorable moment. I mean, even in lockdown, when a lot of people were talking about their top 10 Eve moments as part of the YouTube streams, I think a lot of the answers that I saw said that, you know, that cash-in was in their top 10 moments. So, I mean, that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's about making memorable moments in wrestling. So I'm really proud that I managed to make that moment. I wish the title reign was longer. I don't know if I should say this. It was meant to be longer, but certain circumstances happened to the point where it ended when it did, which was not the initial plan. But I'm still, you know, super proud of what I did in that time. There I am.
And the championship
I'm
belt.
lying if I said I
good.
was completely satisfied with that reign and that I was happy to leave it there. I would definitely like to have another reign with the Pro Wrestling Championship. So that is my goal at Eve now. I'm currently undefeated for 2023 at Eve,